think that there are people in politics who, when they're talking about misconduct and abuse, it's degrees of severity between it. And at the top of the list of you cannot do is sexual misconduct and sexual abuse. Those are at the top of the list. But my friend Eddie, who was a former therapist in another life, you know that abuse is abuse. That misconduct is misconduct.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what level it rises to, right? But is anybody going to make that distinction? No. That's another part of the conversation that we have to have is, abuse is abuse, misconduct is misconduct, and the playing field has to be level.
Well, and I'm also going to say playing field has to be level, Sisto. And that means that it has to be equally applied towards men and women. Mm-hmm. And we know this. There is a bias that only men can be sexual predators and women cannot. But we have seen in political history that there are many women who are sexual predators that destroy families, that harm others. And now, in terms of volume, in terms of quantity, yes, men are at the top of the list of the numeric value for doing these disgusting, hurtful, harmful things. I, think that it is not as equally applied, right? The stuff on Kirsten didn't come out until much later, till she was out of Congress. We see this with other women. Sisto, I have my own stories. It's probably not for this podcast. But when you're in politics, the things that some women might say to me, if I did that towards them, right? If the roles were reversed and I was as inappropriate as women have been inappropriate to me, the same thing like, Eric and Ruben, all this stuff would be shouted from the mountaintops. There is a disproportionate level. And again, a lot of it has to do with this view of men and women.
But it's just a simple reflection of society as a whole. I mean, men that are victims of sexual assault, of sexual misconduct, of sexual harassment are much higher in not reporting that incident than women. And it's something that we don't talk about. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Men's connection to that issue is completely different than a woman's. The way that men emotionally process that incident is different than women. And men are not as vocal about it. But then again, men aren't as vocal about a lot of things. That's why men have the highest suicide rate in our country, because we don't create spaces where these men can address these issues. And maybe that's something that we need to talk about moving forward, because here you have two buds and neither one of them probably had another buddy sitting in the room to say, hey guys, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the locker room banter. Let's talk about how we hold ourselves accountable to be better about what's going on. But you've got to start somewhere. But I think people immediately jumping to, well, they've got to be gone. They've got to be gone. Well, sometimes that's the political reality of it all, and they will be gone. But at the other end of that, the reality is who's calling these people after they are gone to see, hey, are you getting the help you need to deal with what you're going through and how you acted out in this way? Because that's also part of the problem, because we're just going to put them out there